Do you ever make bad decisions? Well, not even bad decisions, just like impulsive ones that you know you shouldn't do, but you still do anyway just because they'd be fun. Like, do you ever see a street sign while you're out and you think, you know what, that would look pretty good on my wall? Well, a couple of months ago, I had one of those bad decisions. So it all started one night when I was watching the Urban Rescue Ranch. He was throwing garbanzo beans, and I was thinking to myself, I want to do that. But there was one small issue. Ducks were something that I didn't have. So anyways, I kept watching, and while I watched, I studied the perfect throwing technique, knowing that one day I'd have to do it myself. The next morning, the first thing I did after getting out of bed was get on Amazon and look for the perfect incubator. Automatic egg turning incubator for chickens and quail, and only 80 bucks? That was a buy. But I forgot to read the reviews first. 1 star. Don't work, tried it, it's poo. What does that mean? It started smoking at first. Now I'm almost 21 days in and nothing is happening. Heat don't stay like it should and humidity is hard to keep right as well. I did 6 eggs and nothing happened. Okay, so let me get this straight. You plugged it in, it started smoking, and then you kept it plugged in for a month in your home. Oh, okay, here we go. John gave it 5 stars and he said, egg rotator stopped working. The egg rotation device stopped working within a few days. Not happy at all. Why'd you give it 5 stars then, John? Why would you give it 5 stars if the egg rotator stopped working, John? The 5 stars is supposed to... 5 stars. Good product. I like service and product. You know what? This is all I need to justify my purchase. Now, it was time to find some duck eggs, and after getting a little bit distracted, I eventually came across Mike. Wrong Mike. Now Mike was great because he had not one, but 2 different types of fertilized duck eggs. The buff Orpington, this lighter colored duck, and then the Welsh Harlequin that looks more like a traditional duck with the green head. And I could get 6 of each egg for only 35 bucks. So I made the way to Mike's. Now when I got to Mike's, he came out to give me a tour of his little farm, but he was also nice enough to give me 2 very important tips. Tip number 1 was do not, under any circumstances, use a cheap Amazon incubator. It will not work. The ducks will not hatch. Don't do it. And tip number 2 is I'd be lucky to have half of them hatch, even with a good incubator. But I was going to prove Mike wrong. So after getting home with my new duck eggs, I got them set up in their incubator. And all I could do now was wait and get started on the duck coop. Ooh, yes sir, I'm a real cowboy now. Excuse me, real cowboy coming through. If your hands don't look like this while you're eating your lunch, you must be a sissy. So after letting the eggs grow for a week, it was time to go through and candle them all. Now candling's just the process of shining a light through the bottom, so you can see how the eggs are developing. So I went through and I repeated this with all 12 eggs. And to my surprise, all of the eggs were actually showing proper signs of growth. And while the eggs were growing, I began to grow tired of waiting for them to hatch. I would sit there every day until one day, I read online that you could actually put them in the microwave for a mere 3 minutes, and this would cause the egg growth to accelerate greatly. And just like that, 3 minutes later, I had 9 fully hatched ducks. So I moved the ducks into what would be their home until they're fully grown and ready to go outside. It looked like they were already enjoying the new place, and I also made sure to introduce them to their new roommate. This first week of having them was actually really easy, and I guess you could say I had all my ducks in a row. Week 2 was when I found out why it was such a bad idea to let them live in my room. Now ducks do this fun thing where they splash around their water absolutely everywhere, and wood chips don't absorb the smell of duck feces or urine when wet, allowing your room to develop the worst smell ever created. But I developed a strategy where I would simply grab the duck and place it in the transportation shoebox. These 2 escaped. And then I would simply bring them down to the laundry room sink. where they would then be able to wash off the smell of urine and feces from their feathers, while I had the fun job of cleaning out their enclosure and changing out the wood chips that smelled like a biological weapon. Okay, man, calm down. You don't have to yell at me. Come on, man, just get in the box. Now stay there, okay? Don't move. And he got out. What are you guys looking at? You better not be getting any ideas. Stay in there. Don't do it. Week 4 was when things started to get weird. Every time I would try to make breakfast, this would happen. And every time I went to pour some orange juice, it would turn to more of a pale, loud yellow. But I made sure to keep watering them so they would keep growing. And as their transportation box got bigger, so did they. Maybe a little too big, but it looked like they'd be ready to go outside soon. So I made sure my cat wouldn't eat them while they were out there, and I got ready. Week 6 started off great. The ducks got a chance to swim in a bigger pool, and got a feel for what it'd be like to live outside. I had also started hand feeding them treats, so they would stay used to me and come up running every time that I came outside. But I didn't know this would actually be a bad decision. Oh, hey guys, what are you doing out there watching me drink my coffee? No, you can't come in. You guys belong outside now. Come on now. Everybody out. Everybody off the porch. Get back into the grass. Let's go. I can finally make breakfast with no interruptions. And they are back right on the porch wanting more food. Day by day, the ducks grew smarter. They had started setting up decoys so they could get up closer to the house to get more food. In fact, I think they started to think of me as the food. I could hardly sleep that night.
No! Please! No, get them off of me! They're eating me alive! Help! No! No! No!
So it turns out, the ducks weren't actually trying to eat me alive. I had got them all wrong. But to make it up to them, I was gonna go ahead and give them a dream home makeover. And while the ducks were spending a relaxing day at the spa, I was gonna go ahead and transform their entire duck coop. I put new wood chips on the floor. Doesn't it look nice? But this was still an important day for the ducks, as it gave them a chance to relax, because in the next few weeks, they would finally be introduced to the miracle of flight. Gather round, soldiers. This is what we've been preparing for the last 12 weeks. 3 months of hard work and effort that all of you have gone through, all for this one moment. No second chances, no do-overs. This is where we make our final stand.
Okay, here we go. Focus. Speed. I am speed.